Welcome back. Beetlejuice, the musical, is coming to the Washington Pavilion this upcoming Tuesday. We're getting a chance to speak with Isabella Essler, who will be playing Lydia in the performance. So this is going to be a big deal for you. You're making a professional debut. And what is going through your mind when, first of all, you're hearing that you get the role of Lydia?
It was absolutely crazy. It really was such a surreal experience. Just because like I've been such a fan of the show like before COVID's for a couple years, so it's really wild that like it kind of came full circle for me that I'm now like being from like a fan to like being a part of it, and it was really exciting. I love the show, and I was so excited to be a part of it. And also like this kind of just being my my first job. It was very, a little nerve-wracking, but it was so awesome.
When you talk about the play itself and then the movie, are there any obviously similarities, but anything that you see that's different from it, or how do you kind of compare the two?
Yeah, they're a little bit different. It's still the same, like the same lovable characters you guys know from the movie. I think the main difference is that in the musical, I think it kind of focuses a little bit more on Lydia and Beetlejuice and like their arc and their story. While I think the movie kind of focused a little bit more on the Maitlands and like their point of view. So I always thought that was kind of interesting. You kind of get like the same story, but a little bit like a little more different perspective.
And your process going through the audition to be Lydia, can you talk to us about what that is? Did you have a massive group of people that were looking for that and then you get selected? But like, how did that all look?
Yeah, beginning like a yearish ago, well, a little longer now. At the beginning of my senior year, last year, I saw an open call for when Beetlejuice was reopening on Broadway because that was about the time when a lot of Broadway shows were reopening up after COVID, and I saw an open call, so I sent in an audition tape, and I didn't hear anything for a little bit, and then after a couple months I ended up doing some like online callback self tapes for it, and then that like over time transitioned to me like doing callbacks for the tour that summer, last summer. And the callbacks was 2 days of callbacks, and then I found out a week later that I was gonna go on tour. So this like whole process for me was kind of like a year-long process. It was very long, but it was very fun. And it was my very first audition process like that, like in professional setting in New York. I've never done that before, so it was really fun.
And now that you've gotten a little bit into this now, any fun stories through the tour so far? I mean, you're getting to see some new places now. And what's kind of this whole experience been for you? What have you seen? Maybe some funny things you've taken away from it?
Yeah, it's been really, really fun. I have never done a 8 show a week schedule before, so that's been kind of, interesting, get used to that and pacing yourself. I've explored so many fun cities that I would have never been to before. And so I'm really thankful for that. I love finding like fun local, um, like coffee shops, restaurants, like everything that makes like local places that make like that place special, and that's always been really fun. With that, I think we definitely have like a lot of definitely a lot of mishaps, and that is very much live theater is kind of dealing with when things kind of go wrong. I think the first thing that comes to mind that was really fun is very early in our run, we were in San Francisco, and we had a during one of the netherworld scenes in act two, there's supposed to be like a fog machine to make, the ambiance of like the scene. And it kind of malfunctioned to the point where it was like spewing so much fog, to the point where like the whole stage was like filled with fog. Like the audience could not see us at all, and people were dancing and we couldn't see each other either, so we had to stop the show because it was becoming a safety hazard. And we had to like wait like a couple minutes to get back into it. And I just thought it was so funny because the audience was so into it, like they were like applauding, they were going crazy, even though like we had to stop the show and like I remember some crew members had to go on and like get a fan and like blow it away and people were like applauding for everyone. It was just like such a that was like my very first like mishap type thing that happened in the show and I was like I just thought it was so fun and interesting how like this happens but the audience is so like invested and like so personal like they loved it. So yeah, that's like the first thing that comes to mind for me.
Thanks for
Yeah.
giving us a little bit of time and some insight on Beetlejuice coming here to Sioux Falls, and look forward to your visit
Yeah.
here.
Oh, of course. Yeah. I'm super excited. It's gonna be great. Very exciting.